This video will contain spoilers, so you have been warned. So please click out if you don't want to be spoiled. Hello and welcome to Dimzys Domain. Recently I tweeted out my thoughts regarding Dragon Ball Super episode 118 and it got quite a lot of retweets. So with that being said, I don't think a few bits of text is enough for me to truly express what I think that Dragon Ball Super episode 118 is among, if not the best episode so far. What are you talking about? We've had Goku vs Jiren, we've had Merge Zamasu vs Vegito Blue, we've had the first episode of the Future Trunks arc, Goku vs here. What are you talking about? Those were all moments of greatness, and that is the answer. They were moments of greatness, whereas this episode, in my opinion, is structured so well. It is a absolute beauty in the way it was able to deliver moments of greatness, as well as character interactions and character feelings, and just the music, the scenes, the way it was just put together was just... It worked, and I'll tell you why. Regarding the episode itself, in this episode we've had Universe 2 and Universe 6 erased, and there was only two main fights occurring in this episode, and that is of course Goku, Android 17 and 18 versus the rest of Universe 2, as well as Gohan and Piccolo versus the Universe 6 Namekians. Now, regarding Universe 2's elimination, why was that so good? I'm not going to break it down and tell you the synopsis of the episode itself. I hope you all watched it, because if not, you lot really should. But what I will tell you is that when Universe 2 were eliminated, how many of you felt like, you know what, they were actually really damn good, and it made you question a few things. Some of them I'm going to address in a video. For example, why was Universe 2 in the Tournament of Power in the first place? They had their mortals and their immortals, the gods. They were quite well synergized, weren't they? Well, that's what it looked like, but we'll address that in a video later on. But Universe 2 asked the question to the viewer, what is beauty? Honestly, what is beauty? What is love? And by them representing what is beauty, what is love, having these three, as they said, ugly looking male characters, which are not conventionally regarded as the epitome of beauty, represent and masquerade their whole universe, which is all under the whole the notion that love wins all, love conquers all. Now, having those three guys, those three ugly people represent love makes you wonder, what is beauty? And it kind of gave a lot of respect to respect. Did you see that? Respect on that. It gave a lot of respect towards Universe 2, towards the fighters of Universe 2, and actually it didn't take out Ribrianne from the fight by having the formation, that transformation which made the Bompara Parabara ripoff guy look like Ribrianne was genius. It was genius. It was absolutely, as I say, genius. And also having homages throughout this episode. For example, we had Android 18 and Android 17 play the villains, play the somewhat Junanago, Juhachigo, blah blah blah. It was a very nice little touch, and having them execute perfect, absolutely perfect teamwork, and having Goku as the third wheel to make it more contemporary, to make us feel, hey, look, we're watching Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball Z. We're not watching the history of Trunks timeline. No. This was executed to perfection, and as I said earlier, the Dragon Ball GT Para Brothers homage was just, it did it for me. Now, regarding Universe 6's elimination, well then, Gohan and Piccolo's tag team was just splendid. Gohan was able to really come into his own as a warrior, and this time we saw a hesitant Piccolo. Piccolo is known for his wits, he is known for his ability to stay calm, and is really good because they tapped into lore that was introduced earlier in Dragon Ball Z, whereby we saw the Namekians become stronger via fusion. So I really do feel that they tried their best to justify their strength, be it in Universe 6 or Universe 2. Whereas Universe 2, they had the little glow sticks, and depending on how much they love or how much love they emulate, the Universe 2 fighters are taking in the love and they're able to become stronger. It's pretty much like when people donate their energy for a spirit bomb. And it also might justify why the other Universe 2 fighters, such as Ribrianne, which is the main figurehead of Universe 2, was as strong as she was. But I think that they did go that little extra mile to justify for the people who are really getting a bit pissed off. Oh, why are they so strong? The Namekians all, well, not all, the ones who volunteered, they fused, and that's why Soronel and Pirina, how the name is, the Universe 6 Namekians are very, very strong. It took them a long time for the, well, not a long time, but like a day or so for their powers to stabilize, and they were able to fight on par with Gohan and Piccolo. And then Piccolo's hesitance, which was also a nice little callback and reminder that, hey, Kami and Neo did execute Namekian fusion with Piccolo, and we saw this little silhouette. It wasn't even a silhouette, but it was this astral figure of both Kami and both Nail, and it just reminded Piccolo of who he is, although he really doesn't have an identity. Kami never really had an identity, and nor does Piccolo. After fusing, you kind of lose your identity until it comes back to you, or until you kind of resurface your old personality. And that's what happened with Piccolo when he fused with Kami, if you remember in Dragon Ball Z during the Cell arc. It was a very nice callback. All these little callbacks just work together. They interweave to make a very, very enjoyable episode. And you had those moments being, as I would like to coin the term, the Goku Gohan cutback Kamehameha, whereby we saw Goku charging his Kamehameha as well as Gohan charging his Kamehameha, and during each little utterance of Kameha, it switched from Goku to Gohan, from Goku to Gohan, and it was just very well done. We saw Universe 2 actually becoming a threat, whereby those guys were able to execute a move even the maidens of Universe 2, Rubrian and her crew, were unable to execute, and that was the, I think it was what, the, black hole, pretty much the black hole of love, I don't know, love black hole. Essentially, it's when the love becomes so dense, whereby they form the features of a black hole, and thus becoming extremely destructive. And it was very nice when the god of destruction of Universe 2 said, wow, not even the maiden, not even Rubian and her lot were able to unlock this move. This is a legendary move. So another thing to point out is that a lot of this episode was centered around character moments and comedic moments as well, but the comedy didn't take away from the episode as a whole, whereby we saw these three guys were able to do formation, and it looked very corny, very magical girl-esque, but even when they were doing their final move, the stakes were then raised, and this was very well executed. As said, executed a lot of times. This was very well done by the score. The score changed, and it flip-flopped from being very serious to very happy to being very magical. I think it was the glue to make all these moments work. It stuck together, and it really did work. And another thing, I did speak about the Goku Gohan cutback Kamehameha. What about the Gohan Piccolo father-son special Kamehameha cannon? Special Kamehameha cannon. It was just well done. It was like Piccolo had his own little character arc enclosed in this very short episode, whereby we saw so many things happen, and then Piccolo said, you know what? It has to be done, and he charged his special beam cannon and he put it right through Solonel, I think, or Pirin, one of them, and he right through both Namekians as Gohan done the Kamehameha and eliminated them both. I haven't even talked about when they were destroyed, when the universes were destroyed, and I'm sure many are interested. I do want to hear your thoughts regarding what you thought, how you felt when they were eliminated, and let's see what everyone says. Regarding Universe 2, we are going to talk about the elimination and the erasure soon, by the way, but regarding Universe 2, as I said, it was very well done. They really did show the fun. They really did introduce the fun in this tournament. Now, I know people didn't like Rubrian. I know people didn't like the repetitive transformations, but I think they changed it up by having these three other guys who, as I said earlier, they regarded themselves as ugly, but they're very beautiful, and they're very beautiful because they're very beautiful because they have love, and they fight for what is love. And that's another thing. What is love? Truly, That is the question to ask for Universe 2, and that's what the question is for them. What is love? The power of love. And then Goku says, look, yeah, the power of love is something, but I prefer guts, ballsy, and that's the start of his Kamehameha, to which he eliminated them. And we find out that Universe 2 were broadcasting to their universe. Now, how much love, how much trust do they all have? Because they were like that right to the end. You don't really witness any mass hysteria as you'd expect, or as you saw in Universe 9, or as was warned in Universe 7. We see them go out with a bang and go out proud. They were proper warriors, and in that sense, I think, well, in my opinion, they earn my respect. Did they earn your respect? Did you think that Universe 2, it's not like they needed to be redeemed for anything else, but do you feel like you kind of miss them? Do you feel like you were like, oh, you know what, they were quite cool? Let's talk about Universe 6. When the Namekians were eliminated, Caulifla did say, look, beforehand, if you lot get eliminated, I want to clobber you. And they got eliminated, and she still goes to clobber them. There was a lot of comedy, but the comedy didn't feel out of place at all, because of the fact that if you look at how Universe 6 was introduced in the first place, Champa, yes, he was introduced somewhat serious, as you would introduce any other mysterious character, but from the get-go, Champa has always been a very comical, a very funny character. He's very goofy, he's very bubbly in that sense. He's also very outspoken, and just Universe 6 emulated that. They were very outspoken, although he hardly ever spoke. Caulifla, Kale, the Namekians, you see why like they do what they do. And that's another thing about the Namekians, you see why they really do want to try and go and succeed in this tournament of power. You see the whole race is depending on them, and it was the first time in a long while, and I know this should be the case for every single person or individual competing in this tournament of power, but it's the first time that you see the whole race properly explained and relying on these few individuals, once again showcasing how important this tournament is. And when they were erased, it was all the more heartbreaking. It was all the more heartbreaking when you see Kaba wishing Vegeta good luck. He never even spoke a word. Is he a clone? No, I'm joking. Champa and Beerus is the main conversation point, and I will do a video regarding that. It's been actually 2 years overdue. Well, 1.5 years overdue, believe it or not. I did speak to Geekdom about this long time ago, but Champa and Beerus, well, Champa just takes a deep breath. He's accepted what's going to happen to him, and he looks at Beerus for one last time. Hey bro, and he pulls a funny face as Beerus tries his best. He tries his best not to acknowledge him, and then he says, say something. Who does he say to? Once again, a video regarding that will address it all. It was a very poignant little scene. It worked so well. They didn't go out with tears. They didn't go out with regret. They didn't really make up. It was a very brotherly thing to do. They always had their squabbles, and what it did show, in my opinion, is that Beerus was so sad and torn up, but he's not grieved. He hasn't even come to grips to what just happened. I think he needs a day, he needs a few hours, he needs something. He needs this tournament to end, if he's still alive, to be able to come to grips with, hey, my brother's gone, my brother's dead, he's erased, and I will never see him again. That's the thing with loss. A lot of the times when it hits you, it really doesn't hit you at that moment. It sometimes comes a couple of days, couple of months, and even sometimes years later, where you start to grieve. You lose a loved one. Suddenly you see 3 months later, you start remembering them, and then you're bawling your eyes out with tears. And I think that's a very similar reaction that Beerus is going through. The way he was executed was just good. I've run out of superlatives to describe how good this episode was. As I said, if I were to quickly summarize, this was structured to perfection. The comedy was never overbearing. The actual action moments were very, very well done. The set pieces, the music was just so well done. I want to read out my tweet. Dragon Ball Super episode 118 is arguably one crap, I made a bloody spelling mistake, is arguably among the best episodes in Dragon Ball Super. The way it was put together, contrasting love, hope, and acceptance, the way the score complemented the different narratives, the perfect blend of humor and seriousness, and that epitomizes how I felt regarding this episode. It was serious, but it was very humorous. It was a perfect blend, and there was, as I said earlier, so many different narratives going on, so many different strings of stories being unwound. We saw Vegeta getting a bit angry at the end. He said, "I'm in a foul mood." We saw Vados being an absolute troll, like, "Oh no, Champa, it's time to go for real." And you wonder once again, what is her deal, or what is the angels' deal? Can they ever form relations or feelings towards their god or destruction counterparts? Can it ever happen? I don't know. Will Whis be the first one? As I said earlier, it's contrasting love, hope, and acceptance. Love in terms of Universe 2, what they love, what it means to love, the power of love, and how far love will get you. And hope, they're hopeful of just surviving, I guess. Goku was very hopeful. 17, 18 are hopeful, and now we see acceptance in terms of Universe 6 accepted with grace that it's their time to go. Universe 2 said it. If we're gonna go, we're gonna go beautifully. And with that, I think it was the perfect blend mixture of a fantastic 10 out of 10 episode. What do you think regarding this episode of Dragon Ball Super? That's a burp. I'm not gonna edit that out. But with that being said, please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter. You may now exit Dimzys Domain. Thank you, goodbye, take care, and don't die.